Good evening, people. Good morning, wherever you are. If it's morning, good morning. Um, yeah. How was everybody's day today? It was a rainy day in SoCal, which always makes for great driving. I won't get into it. It's too hacky and sticky. So we won't talk about how people are complete fucking idiots when it rains out here, and when there's the littlest of accidents, they shut down everything. It's the worst. Anyways, my next guest, I love this guy, man. I mean, he is a true throwback. I mean, you're talking police officer, comic, television show, amazing carpenter. I mean, the list goes on, and it's great because he is from Long Island, New York, and I was born in Massapequa, Long Island, Bethpage Mid Island Hospital in 1979, and moved to Rochester. Spent every summer in Long Island and in the city, and it was my second home. And this man is from there, and we are going to take a trip down Long Island memory lane. We're going to talk a little Hempstead Turnpike. We're going to talk a little Hicksville Road, a little Jerusalem Avenue, as my grandfather would say. Anyways, let's bring this guy in. Very long-winded introduction. I think he's here. Let's bring him on in, Mr. John DiResta, everybody. John DiResta. That I'm gonna say is
okay. Let me tell him.
Son.
Let me call him. Thanks.
Yeah, but you're all ready to go.
Yeah.
You could put in the headphones and hear what he's saying. I don't know, but I'm not sure if your video's on screen yet or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah, he's on screen. Like I said, he's a throwback. Hey, is this thing on over here? Yeah, no, this guy, John DiResta. This is interesting. I'm just going to talk about the guest until he gets on. What if I just interviewed him like this, interviewed this beautiful wall right here? I guess maybe we'll wait a second. All right. Well, we'll add him back in a little bit. I actually just got a text saying, "Can we go in 10 minutes?" But he was all set up. I saw his little box in the window, so I assumed he was ready to go. But I guess he didn't adapt the DJ Quick line. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I'm gonna remove my glasses. God, I look terrible. I'm telling you, this lighting is awful in here. This lighting is awful. You know what's not awful though? I should share this with you. You guys might be able to see this, but I'm gonna raise this up and you could look and see this shelf. Oh snap, look at all those football helmets up there. It's all 32 teams. The things you get obsessed with during quarantine. I said, we got to collect all the helmets and display them. And my wife was cool with it. I married the right one. What, I don't know. I'm just going to cut all this out until Mr. DiResta gets here. So I'll do an introduction, a legit introduction. And then I'll probably just hack all of this off of this. But very, very funny that this is going on here. My kids are wanting to do family movie night. I wonder what they have in store. Last week we watched Raya. Raya is a good movie. Disney movie. It's like Moana with like samurai sword. I don't know. I fell asleep. I did start watching that Cecil Hotel, which I had seen the sign for it because they still have the sign. It's a different name now, but they still have like the original sign like in the back of it. I know I've seen it down by Staples Center. And so I'm trying to watch that, but it's just annoying. I don't know why Netflix is doing like episodes for each thing. And it shouldn't bother me because it just kind of flows into each. But it is very annoying. What's up, man? Well, you interrupted me, so now you have to tell them why you interrupted. It's my son. One of them. See, also the reason why I don't want to clip this broadcast, because I can't go back in it. Then I'll have to send this guy a new invite. Forget about it. So they'll be on in a minute. Like I said, I'm going to chop all this off. Yep. So, anyways, I'm gonna have to do this whole fucking intro over again. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, if that's what you're going through right now. I had a pretty good day today. Uneventful. It was raining here in LA. We won't go into that whole hacky thing about how everything is fucked with a little bit of rain out here. But anyways, tonight's guest, I love this guy. I've done some shows with him in the past. He's a great guy. He was a policeman, comic, television show, amazing carpenter. He can make you a bar. He can make you anything. As a matter of fact, I actually am going to have him make me a bar someday. But anyways, this guy's great. He's from Long Island. I love this guy. Let's talk to Mr. John DiResta.
What's up, Ra?
How are you, buddy?
Good. How we doing? Let me see. I think I might have to put my light on. I don't know how this is working. Let me see.
I don't know. You look good.
How about that? That's too bright?
No, you look good. You look like George Clooney.
Yeah, I've been known as the overweight, white trash, retarded George Clooney.
That's perfect.
I actually have a very, how we all have movie ideas, right? Everyone's got a movie idea.
Sure.
But George Clooney wants to raise so much money for all of his charities, and he's world famous. So the technology is there for him to order a clone. 6 months, it becomes his age. It's him. Except in the Petri dish, the air conditioner is broke in the lab in Jersey. And the fat tattooed technician, one drip of sweat falls off his nose into the Petri dish. Instead of an exact replica of George Clooney, I show up. A half-retarded, wise-ass version that eats like he has two assholes. He's covered in bad prison tattoos. And the guy becomes more famous in the movie than George Clooney.
That's awesome. You must have been smoking Alien Labs OG Kush.
Dude, I switched over 2 days ago after 20 years. I switched over to sativa.
Oh,
yeah. I was always 100% into couch.
yeah.
And then I'm on the sativa now.
There you go. Look at you go. Well, that's good. Well, anyways, like I was saying when I was introducing you, you have a really great story. And I want you to walk us through it. Where'd you grow up?
I believe it or not, I was born in Queens, and at 55 years old, about a year ago, it hit me that I'm a real New Yorker. I was born in Far Rockaway, Queens. I lived in a housing tenement with poor people, but at the age of 2, I moved to Long Island. But when I say Long Island, I moved from Far Rockaway to Woodmere. So we moved 1.5 miles, like we went through a red light, and that was Long Island. We're the first town in Long Island.
Yeah, I was born in Massapequa, right off of the Seaford-Syosset exit, right there at Hicksville Road.
Right, that's the home of the Buttafuoco's. Do you know what Mary Jo Buttafuoco's doing now, Jim?
No.
She's giving blowjobs on the side.
Oh.
Come on, dude. 35 years in, that still has legs.
That's good. That's good.
See that? She's giving blowjobs on the side. So I went to Hewlett High School. You know how most comedians had a misfit loser upbringing and they were molested by their uncle?
Yes.
I wasn't. I had I loved growing up in Long Island. As you know, huge Twisted Sister fan, all in the early 80s. Twisted Sister, every weekend. This Tuesday coming up, I'm doing the podcast of Mark Mendoza, the bass player.
Nice.
And about 4 or 5 months ago, I spoke to Eddie Ojeda. Fast Eddie is one of the guitarists. A friend of mine had him on speed dial. My friend's from the Bronx. He goes, "You like Twisted Sister?" I go, "I love them." He goes, "Hold on." Beep, boop, boop. Eddie, talk to John DiResta. He's a huge Twisted Sister. So, and then I failed out of 2 colleges. And I always wanted to be a comedian, always wanted to be an actor, but didn't have the balls. You know what I mean? Didn't know where to start. I had living room balls. You know what living room balls is, James?
Of course, I have them.
Okay. Well, I've seen you on stage, but you maybe you've overcome them. They're commonly known also as cul-de-sac balls. You're the funniest guy. You're the funniest guy in the cul-de-sac. At the party and the weekend in the summer.
Yes.
But I became a New York City Transit cop down in the subway. I hated every second of that. It smelled like piss. Everyone always says 12 years in the subway.
Where exactly?
Go ahead.
Where exactly were you stationed?
I was in the station that smelled like piss. No, watch this. I started on Columbus Circle,
Okay.
but it was a far ride. It was a tunnel every day. I started at Columbus Circle, 59th Street, 7 or 8 months, loved everything about it except the commute. And then when I realized in that 7 months that I was never going to do police work, I was never going to arrest anybody, I was going to avoid as much police work as possible, try and get injured and go sick whenever I can. I figured I might as well do it with a closer drive. So I transferred to Coney Island. So if you know anything about Brooklyn, Queens, again, I'm the South Shore of Long Island. I cut through JFK Airport. I cut through a little bit of Queens, a little bit of Brooklyn, and bada bing, I'm at Coney Island, the world's playground. No tolls. And with no traffic, it's 20 minutes. So I spent 5 years at Coney Island standing around the station. And everyone always asked me, what was it like to work as a transit cop in Brooklyn in the 80s and 90s in Coney Island? And I sum it up like this. It smelled like piss. And I got sick of doing the uniform thing, which is really the lowest, it's the lowest rung of the police ladder to stand in uniform in the subway or ride the train. And I saw no way out. No way, because I had a bad sick record. I had no activity. How am I going to get to a better unit? Ta-da. Openings in the homeless outreach unit. Homeless outreach. Plain clothes, except for the flea collar. Weekends off. And you drive around a big city bus or a van, and you're an Uber. Before Uber was invented, we were Uber for bums in New York City. We got called by transit cops, housing cops, NYPD. You know who we got called by a lot? Bank security. Like a bum would go in on someone's buzz into an ATM.
Yeah.
But then sleep in the corner because it was warm. You know what I mean? And then we get a call from Citibank. Hey, we got two clients. We called them. Well, we called that out on the radio. Central, be advised, you got 2 clients, Times Square, 1 male, 1 female. They're seeking food and shelter. But because you can't say over the radio, yeah, we got a 2-legged cockroach that smells like rotten cat feces.
Got a couple of Neanderthals. We
got a stinker. His nickname is the Onion, and don't let him take his shoes off. You'll gag. His stink of his feet could gag a maggot. Roger that. So, but how did I get into the homeless outreach unit, James? You got a bad sick record, no activity. I was a wise ass. Everybody knew me for the guy that hated being a cop. I mean, it's a funny shtick. I'm like, this job sucks. I must have said that 50 times a shift. This job sucks. Guys would be like, I remember Joe Sorrentino once goes to me, do you really think about leaving? I mean, you talk about leave. This sucks. That's you. I go, dude, I think of it every second of every day. What do? We stand around in a puddle of piss. We're alone. No one cares about us. The first thing, I became a writer. You know what's the first thing I ever wrote? A letter in my memo book to David Dinkins to not come to my funeral. Because if I get shot and killed in the subway, it's your fault. You didn't care. You didn't care enough to send me out with one other guy. Me and you. Not even a steady partner. Just, one night it's you and me. Another night it's, just 2 guys to watch each other's back. Nope. Single patrol with a radio that might work if you're standing in the right spot. Huh. Seriously, you have to ask a guy, can you stop beating the shit out of me? I want to run over to the corner and call 911. Dude, transit cops are known to call 911 on a payphone while they're in the middle of a shootout.
That's crazy.
Who's the asshole now? So watch this. How did I get out of the homeless outreach? Out of uniform? They had a transit police family day at Floyd Bennett Field. All 2,000 transit cops, their wives, all-day event. Dogs, motorcycles for the kids. They needed a clown. Dude, I volunteered to be a clown in full makeup, full big size 33 shoes, like a maggot. Worse than prison rape, like a maggot. And most clown gigs last 30 minutes. You go to a party and you leave.
Yeah.
9 hours in August, 110 degrees.
Did they give you a pension for that? Were you out?
Dude, I got pulled over on the way there, and the 2 NYPD cops were laughing at me. He's transit. Look, he's got the clown outfit. Of course he's transit. And then he said, how is transit? And I was in the clown outfit, and I looked through the car window. Guess what I said? Smells like piss. Honk, honk. See that? That was a clown noise. Dude, this is a true story. A lot of transit cops were black and Hispanic, and it wasn't just them, but a majority of their children at Transit Police Family Day. My nickname was Funny Bones, my clown name. Dude, I had juggling ball. I knew how to juggle. I knew how to do all this weird shit that I taught myself standing around the subway. I knew how to shoot water through my teeth like at 40 feet, farther than any human being ever. And but 1 hour into my clown gig, 1 hour, the cops' kids stole my juggling balls, stole my my paint makeup to paint the kid. They stole everything. I was left with nothing for the next 8 hours. And no matter where I walked, I had a group of 10 or 15 kids behind me the whole day. It was the weirdest thing. Even when I had to do a number 2, because it was free food, and I was eating like I had 2 assholes. I ate 35 hot dogs that day.
Oh, my God. You're like that Kobayashi guy.
Listen, you dip them in water. And when I sat down to do a number 2, my size 33 and a half clown shoes was sticking out from under the door. And all these little kids, where Funny Bone? When you coming out, Funny Bone? Where you at, Funny Bone? You make me a clown. You make me a doggy balloon. Can you make me a doggy balloon?
Oh, that's fucking funny, man.
But dude, the next day I got transferred, plain clothes, for the rest of my 7 more years in the homeless unit. It was the equivalent of Animal House with guns and alcohol and bums. Dude, we were allowed to go anywhere we wanted in New York City. Most cops, drive around 5 square blocks.
Right.
Or in Nassau County, they drive around, 4 square miles, Seaford and Wantor, whatever.
Yeah.
We'd be at Yankee Stadium at midnight. At 1:40 in the morning, we'd be at Coney Island, 30 miles away. Then we would even go to Staten Island. There's no subways, and we would go to Staten Island. We could do whatever we want. We went to Yankee games, Met games, hockey games, weightlifting competitions. Dude, I would bounce around all the comedy clubs in the homeless outreach van all night long. And it's, when guys run from spot to spot?
Yeah, yeah.
Guess who drove them?
Yeah.
So I would have Dave Attell. I would have the dude that co-created Chappelle. What's his name? Neil Brennan. I had Neil Brennan. I had Mulrooney. And whenever we had them in, I would say, if we get pulled over by our sergeant, just say you're homeless. Like it was, how you can't really drive someone in a marked police car. You get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We had 4 or 5 comedians a night, just driving them from gig to gig. And I said, if we get stopped by the sergeant, just say you're homeless and you happen to dress nice.
That's awesome. Now, so when did comedy come into play? Because you still have so much more, man. I mean, your story, it's really incredible. I always wanted to be a comedian and always wanted to be an actor, especially a comedian, but I had living room balls, cul-de-sac balls. And I used to go to Governor's. I used to go to the Brokerage. I used to go into Manhattan. I was a comedy buff. When I went on a date, we went to a comedy club. When the first time I ever went to a comedy club in 1984, I was high on 5 hits of mescaline, which makes you laugh. The Long Island Purple Dot mescaline makes you laugh. It's crazy. I've done mescaline. Yes, it's great.
We just went to Governor's. Didn't care who was playing. Opening guy, funny. Middle guy, I think it was Lou DiMaggio, writes for Curb Your Enthusiasm, I think, or Bill Maher. He was funny, and out came a guy named Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, shit.
Handsome, funny. Dude, I literally think that's as close to going to heaven, other than seeing Twisted Sister, to see Dice Clay while you're on 5 hits of mescaline, and he was on top of his game, and he was young and charming and handsome and so funny and so dirty.
That's great. Yeah, I saw him once before live. It was maybe like 8 years ago. It was great.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I became a cop. I didn't like it. I got married and had 2 kids right away. Now I couldn't quit. As much as I talked about quitting, now I was in this homeless outreach unit forever. I knew at least I have a place where I could hopefully stay and never have to arrest anybody, never have to do real police work. And we had it down. We had a quota, believe it or not. We had a quota on, so depending on what the temperature was how many stinkers or 2-legged cockroaches we would have to transport. So if it was 32 degrees or below, we had to get like 30 a night. So it was job security for everybody. If it was 90 degrees out and we got 5 clients, we were good. So the reason I bring that up is some nights on the on the bus, it would be packed. We'd have 25, 30 people, like, on our way to the shelter. Central, be advised, we got 2 more clients at 30 seconds. Like on the way to the shelter, we'd fill up. And what was I doing as I was throwing out sandwiches? We gave them sandwiches. We called it bum bait to get them on the bus. Bum bait. Or if we were near Rockaway, it was bum chum. You get it? Bum chum.
Yeah.
But what would I be doing? Telling jokes, even dumb jokes, street jokes. What's Mary Jo Buttafuoco doing now? She's giving blowjobs on the side. And I would tell so many of the same hacky street jokes that the regulars would scream out the punchline in unison. You know what I mean? Like while I'm throwing out the sandwiches, I would say, hey, everybody, I just want to let you know I'm in a really good mood. I got laid last night. And then 10 bums would all yell, how's your asshole feel? You know what I mean? Like it was like
an interactive set. Like you were.
It was the way Don Rickles learned how to be a crowd comedian was he did all bar mitzvahs and weddings where you couldn't do material. You had to go out in the crowd and make it, personable. So yes, these were like inside, and some of them were really fun and memorable. And we took photos, we took videos. My biggest regret on earth is not finding some of those videos. And then one night on the homeless outreach bus, Mike Venkus was my partner. He was reading the Village Voice, and he just shut it and looked at me and goes, there's a thing called a comedy class. Did you know that? And it was like I was 27 years old, married, 2 kids, and it was as if like you almost heard like this heavenly noise, like, because I didn't know about open mic. I thought you were born famous. You know what I mean? I didn't know you could earn it. I knew nothing about it. And when he said comedy class, I was like, okay, so there's a way to kind of get into this without, secretly, for lack of a better term, or somebody holding your hand. And I got off at 6 a.m, and we had moved to Harriman. Do you know where that is? You go straight up north towards upstate New York, toward Middletown, Newburgh.
Yes.
I don't know why we made that move from Long Island. And I got off at 6 a.m, and I drove about an hour and a half, 7 a.m. My wife answers the door. In one arm is a 1-week-old baby, which was our daughter. In the other arm is a 1-year-old son. They're 11 months apart. We have a son and a daughter, and they're both crying their eyes out. And I said to my wife, I want to be a comedian. It may take 10 years to make a dime, but I can go open mics like at 8 and then go on duty at midnight, 8, midnight. You know what I mean? There was a good schedule, and I went on duty in Manhattan, which I didn't tell you that. And I said, I want to be a comedian. I'm not quitting the job. Obviously, it might not pan out. It'll take 10 years probably to make money. And there was a big pause, and she said, I want another baby. We had a 1-week-old and a 1-year-old, and she said she wanted another baby, and she would support. So we made the deal right then. And when I called the comedy class, and I still owe my brother the $350 for the comedy class. But when I called him the next day, there was this weird, crazy relief of, it was almost like I told my mom and dad that I was a pansexual or, LBGQT plus tax. You know what I mean? That much just lifted off me. And I joined the class, and I still have the notebooks, from that class. I mean, I could reach. I'm in like a weird little room in my house now, surrounded by comedy notebooks and etc. And I could reach for that notebook from the very first thing I ever wrote down was to have fun, have fun. There's 3 rules of comedy. Do you know them, James? The 3 rules?
I'm sure I know a version of 3 rules. Always.
Well, the three that
one.
number one is to have fun. Number two is to not care if they laugh. And number three is to go back to rule number one, have fun. That's it. And now watch this. A few people have said there's a 3A. And that would be to speak up or speed up. You know, Jerry Seinfeld always said, quick, to get it done, get to your joke quick, move to the next one. And the next thing I wrote down, it took me years and years and years to learn. It said no two audiences ever alike. So like you could go into, let's just say you're on the road and you go to Milwaukee and 8 o'clock you kill and it's sold out. And 10 o'clock it's sold out and you have a bad set. And you're like, but they're from Milwaukee. It's the same jokes. What? In other words, no two audiences are ever alike, ever. Again, that was in my notes as a new open micer, and it took me years to realize what that meant.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at it too.
So then I did 6 years as a comedian and a transit cop. So 6 years as a transit cop, no comedy. Then I did another 6 as a hustling comedian, open mic bringer, open mic, bad audition. I went on all these auditions where anybody can go on out of the back of like some, cheesy magazine.
Yeah.
I had a lady took her glasses off and just said, "Can you tell me exactly why you came here?" I mean, yeah. So, a lot of rough times, but eventually I did a one-man show based on the homeless outreach unit, being a clown. Everyone tells you when you become a civil servant, you're set for life, but they forget to tell you that you'll be making $400 a week. You lose your hair. Your wife takes all your money.
Doing the Lord's work he's doing.
Dude, at the age of 41, you're back in the bedroom you grew up in with your twisted sister and your zebra posters, and your wife gets 75% of your check before you even see it, your ex-wife.
Yeah,
but they don't tell you that.
You have a hot plate and shit. Beating off.
You're living in someone's garage, right? In Oyster Bay.
But
okay. But in hindsight, it was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Again, the homeless outreach unit, it's a very funny experience. To this day, people, I'll go on and I quit the job 23 years ago. It's been 23 years. And, every now and then I'll do a live audition and the casting director will go, "Oh, we know you. You're the guy. You were the transit. You worked in the subway. We read your bio. What was that? That must have been an interesting life experience. What was it like to be a New York City transit cop for 12 years? I go, "You want to know what it's like to be a transit cop? Go out into your garage in the hottest day of August, urinate in the corner, and then stand in the puddle for 9 hours. But make sure it's 105 degrees with 100% humidity."
Yeah, I remember that smell because well, I remember one time a guy fucking puked right in front of my grandmother and I. We got right on the Long Island Railroad right there. We went into the city. She was taking me to the Museum of Natural History. I was about 9 years old.
Is that the one with the humongous whale hanging off the ceiling?
Yes.
Yeah. We've all been to that.
Yeah, of course. I've been a million times. That and the Intrepid, too. If you're Italian.
That I never went to. That was known as the Transit Cop St. Patrick's Day Parade After Party, which is, to this day, people talk about and I don't know why I never went. I mean, guys would get bombed.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, guys would get bombed. I don't know why I never went.
That's weird. You seem like the guy that would have went.
I went to a lot of things like that, but I'm just saying I was never on the Intrepid. I was outside it.
Yeah, man. I missed that, man. Because I used to spend all the summers in Long Island. I was born in Long Island, Bethpage Mid-Island Hospital in 1979. But then we moved to Rochester in 81.
Oh, okay.
So,
and this is how backwards Long Island could be known as. I always tell people that I need to get a COVID shot earlier than the average person. I'm compromised. And people go, "Why? Because you have diabetes?" I go, "No, because I'm from Long Island. My brain is the size of a pistachio nut. It's like a dinosaur."
You know what? But it's all blue collar, man. It's all good.
But hold on. This is what I was getting at. Poor Tiger Woods has only been called a horrible racial slur ever yelled out of the gallery at a professional event. Guess where it was?
Island.
Bethpage Country Club,
Oh,
where you're from. That's a known fact.
That's really fucking funny, man.
And that's where Mike Venkus got married. The guy that said to me, "You should be a comedian," he got married at the Bethpage Country Club while I was doing the stand-up. And years later, I read that the only time Tiger Woods was ever, horribly maligned with a racial slur from the gallery was at Bethpage.
That's fucking funny.
And my brother says that people from Long Island only marry people from Long Island and only interact with people that in about 40 years from now, they're going to be their own strain of humanoid that's different from the average human because they've all fucked each other so many times over.
It's crazy. I'm probably going to retire there.
Yeah. Oh, you really want to go back there?
Probably.
I don't dislike it at all. I'm as proud as could be, especially with the Twisted Sister. They played on Long Island 7 nights a week for 10 years, basically Long Island, Jersey. I'm such a huge Twisted Sister fan that I was lucky enough to marry a woman that looks exactly like Dee Schneider.
That's funny. A lot of women have that fucking hair. I know what you mean.
And she's not going to take it anymore. But the reason I bring that up, I couldn't go back. 2 reasons. It gets cold, it rains, and it gets humid. I don't know if that's one reason. And the other one is, as much as I love my family, I also have in-laws. There's a lot of things, you live here now. There's a lot of things you don't have to do.
Sure.
People say to me, I've been out here. How long you been out here?
Since summer of 98.
Oh, okay. Same with me. 98. People go to me, "What do you do on Christmas? It's like 85 degrees." I go, "Yeah, it's 85 degrees. And I don't have to drive the thruway. I don't have to go to Jersey in sleet. You know what I do? My wife and I, we stay home, we smoke pot, and we watch Goodfellas."
It's great.
Who's the asshole now?
Yeah.
You know what we do on Easter? We smoke pot and watch Casino.
Nice.
Your turn.
Good stuff. Now, okay. So, dude, we haven't even really scratched the surface. So, you're doing comedy. Are you doing places like The Cellar?
Yes, I was New York Comedy Club. I started to get into Caroline's, but I had to earn my way in all these places, work security, do someone a favor, give them a ride in the homeless outreach van because they were going to another show that, how if they run late at one place, they got to get to another.
Sure.
They get into the next comedy club, Lights and Sirens, in the homeless outreach. You know what I mean? It's hysterical.
So
yes, I was doing The Cellar. I was doing Caroline's, but I was interested more in the longest sets with the blue collar audience in Jersey, Long Island, trying to grab that 200-300 as like a middle act on a weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then my brothers were in the toy business and they met, they were friends with a group of guys that invented a toy that it's called the Sky Dancer. You pull a string and she kind of dances. There was commercials and they made a lot of money. And when they got wind, they saw me do a set and it was a bringer show at Caroline's where you videotape, you get a professional videotape and I brought like 60 people. So I couldn't lose. I just was boom, 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 boom. And it just so happened that's the show that these guys came to see. And they said to my brother that night, they saw just my set and left. What did my set? It was thematic. In a sense, civil service, $10 copays, but you lose your hair. This isn't covered. That's not covered. Being a civil servant sucks. Being married is not as easy as everyone says.
Yeah.
And that set went over so well. It was set 72. It was about a year after I graduated the class that Anthony Gentili told my brother, have John call us tomorrow. We'd like to do possibly a one-man show. We'd like to develop it, produce it. And this is how broke I was. I lived in Harriman, which is 50 miles north of Manhattan. We had no long distance. I had to scrap up all the change from the floor of the minivan that was unregistered and uninsured because I had 3 kids under 3 years old and I made $390 a week as a cop. I had to go to Grand Union to call about my one-man show from a payphone and had to keep pumping in quarters, you know, like Sylvia's mother. You remember that song?
That's great. Yeah.
Off the hook in the medicine show.
That's great.
And the operator said 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. And he said, hey, man, you know, you keep doing your stand-up, keep tape recording, and let's work. So I did a one-man show that worked itself out in Lake Hopatcong, in Jersey. In other words, you know, each weekend I was developing these bits about being a cop and about being married with kids that could go right into a one-man show. So when we started the one-man show, it wasn't really this long-winded script. It was more like a long 10-year story put in with bits.
So basically your whole intentions were to do stand-up in all these places to develop stuff to throw into this one-man show.
Well, they just meshed together. I was doing stand-up and having fun and making a little money. Again, when you're married with 3 kids and someone gives you $100, granted you have to drive 100 miles to Albany, but you're going to get $100. You're going to sit with Mike Tyson's ex-partner and get drunk. His manager, what was that guy's name? Rooney. I did a one-nighter, and that guy Rooney was all drunk. Mike Tyson owes me. Mike Tyson.
Oh, was it that guy? I thought that was Teddy Atlas.
No, it wasn't Teddy. It was another guy like him. They look like brothers. Gotcha. Here's my imitation.
Yeah. There is that Rooney guy.
Here's my imitation of Teddy Atlas. Ready? No, I like that guy. Anyway, but $100 buys a lot of formula and diapers the next day. The alternative as a New York City cop was $10 an hour to stand in a store in Upper Manhattan and say, can you check your bag? 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 You're standing on your feet. You're wearing a suit jacket. You're a security guard. Can you check your bag? And then you're halfway asleep. Your back hurts. And someone says, why do I got to check my bag, motherfucker?
Ugh.
And you go, look, I don't care if you steal everything in here. You could take a shit in the corner. The reason you got to check your bag is because I'm a cop and I'm broke and I have 3 kids and I need $10 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started grabbing 100 here. But then when Anthony Gentili said the producer of the one-man show, basically said, the fix is in that we're getting to work these bits out, you know, not in the theater, not in front of 3 pangenders that don't get it anyway because they're theater students. We were out in front of meat and potato audiences testing these bits out. I'll give you an example, a bit that worked itself out. I would have to go once a year to training. And you know, a lot of New York City cops, macho. I got this, I got 18 medals over here, 357. I carry 9mm. I've been in 6 shootouts. I had 18 suicide attempts. I saved every one. I defused a bomb. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I would literally, you have to get up in front of people and go, hi, everybody. My name's John. I'm in the homeless outreach. I give out sandwiches to bums. But I have a little medal that says over 1 million served.
Oh, that's
see that 1 million served? A guy yelled that out in a crowd, and I took it. I said, I have a medal, and I didn't know what to say. I just said, my medal. I was just like, you know, what you call kind of like improvising. And a guy goes, 1 million served, fucker. And
he
boom, I put it right in.
He gave you a tag.
He gave me a tag. So those are the types of things. And the one-man show caught on. And boom, I got a big sitcom deal. So to answer your question, and that led to it. And that's what these guys got into this one-man show to get a sitcom. Like they didn't do it just because they were good guys. They wanted to be the producers of a network sitcom. And sure enough, I signed a horrifically bad contract with them. It was this thick, and I didn't take it to a lawyer. This is the one-man show. And then all of a sudden, when it turned into like, hey, the possible sitcom deal with a lot of money involved, guess what they did? They said, hey, remember this 50-page contract that you signed?
What did it say that killed you? What was the dagger? Like, what was the...
They owned 90% of my life story, and I owned 10.
Oh, my
Start there. Start there.
Why the fuck would they even do? And these were
well, here's how it got so ugly. That in hindsight, had that contract been fair, we still would have been together 23 years later. Like they wanted to get into showbiz and make. They wanted to be like, you know how Jim Carrey would get just a producer that, you know, makes just Jim Carrey movies.
sure.
But they wouldn't relent on, you know, well, you checked off here and you signed here, and you know, and if you know, blah 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 blah, and it got really ugly. It got very ugly because a lot of money was involved. But in the long run, guess who Hollywood was interested in?
Yeah.
John DiResta, the fat transit cop actor with the funny stories. They weren't interested in the producers that no one cared about.
Of course.
So they got eased aside, like Christopher Moltisanti in The Sopranos.
Sure.
They got eased aside very quickly, and it ended badly. They made their money back, but, you know, to quote one of them, we didn't get in this to make our money back. We got in this to be in showbiz.
So basically you signed a bad deal, but it worked its way out and you didn't get as fucked?
Well, put it this way. I had to give them out of the TV money, I had to give them $250,000 for them not to sue me. They had to get $250,000, and I had like a year to pay it back.
And you definitely didn't get $1 million for the show.
No. It was like a $500,000 deal. But think about it. As much as that sounds, and it was.
Oh
good,
no, that's a good amount of money. But when you
watch this, 10% here, 10% here.
Oh, yeah.
And then hold on, and then half of it goes right to the guys that produced the one-man show. I mean, I almost was left with very little. However, without that one-man show, I wouldn't have been launched to be able to quit the job and move to LA. I thanked them 100%. Sure. I have two brothers, and one of my brothers works with them still to this day. And you know, I don't have any bad blood for them. I'd actually like to patch it up. If they're one of the 4 people that watches this.
well, we're doing this live. It will be broadcast shortly after, about a week. But what's your brother do? Your brother's still
I have an older brother who, you ever see the commercial? Are you an inventor? George Foreman. Everyone says, what do you do with my idea? Call 1-800-INVENT.
Yeah.
You call 1-800-INVENT. You speak to Joey DiResta Jr., my older brother. He helps you with your invention.
Oh.
So he works with a lot of companies that invent toys and the mechanisms. And believe it or not, I'm pretty sure Joey what's that coffee everyone puts the cup in?
Oh,
Keurig. I'm pretty sure he figured out something that made that work better, and he gets like a royalty.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the kind of things he does. It's high-end stuff. So he works with the guys that did the one-man show as a part-timer, and then my younger brother, Jimmy, is on YouTube. He's got 3 or 4 million followers. He's famous on YouTube and Instagram. Have you ever watched any of his videos?
No, not. I've watched some of your stuff, and I think he's been in some of your.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. He's a gay porno star, and he could eat his own ass. No. He's a.
That's great.
He's a he's a contortionist. No, he builds stuff on camera. He's a genius, dude. He was just in Birmingham. He's from Long Island. He's a flid like you and I, a fucking Long Island douchebag. He went to BOCES. Do you know what BOCES is?
I know what BOCES. BOCES.
He went to BOCES.
Can I just tell you something? We used to say, look, like when I moved out here, like, you know, I'd get high with friends and stuff, and we would talk shit to each other, and I'd be like, yo, fucking this motherfucker's a BOCES. And everybody was like, what does that mean out here?
Yeah, no, dude, see, I know where to drop a good BOCES line when you're with someone from Long Island, and we called him BOCES Reject. You just called him a BOCES.
Yeah.
No, we called him BOCES Reject. They had the black boots with steel toe. You knew they were, and every guy that was in legal trouble that had the Black Panther tattoo, every guy got off the BOCES bus. Every guy. And you got to remember, I grew up in Hewlett, rich Jewish town. So when you went to BOCES, you were like a star-bellied sneetch. Every single guy that went to BOCES looked like Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Right? My brother Jimmy was in Mr. Hayner's class. That's the one at the end of the hallway with the red crepe paper over the window, the special class.
And I feel like everybody who taught that class was Mr. Hayner.
Yeah. And he had lost his fingernails in World War II. That's what he said. He was nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my brother Jimmy has gone on to great success. Oh, he went to Birmingham, England, to a trade show and signed autographs for 10 hours on Saturday and 10 hours on Sunday.
Wow.
In Birmingham, England. He's worldwide. He makes stuff on camera, and he's really good at it. Oh, dude, watch this, once a month, sometimes twice a month. It's either at a flea market or at Home Depot. I'm there. They hear my voice. Bada bing. I'm not retarded. I'm from Long Island. Oh, my God. Because we look alike and we sound alike. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, my God. I watch your videos. My wife hates you. I watch your videos 20. I thought you lived in New York. Oh, my God. I can't believe it's you. Can I take a photo? And I just have to go, I'm not him. And they go, oh, you're right. Oh, you're the fat brother, the transit guy that smells piss all the time. Dude, once a month I get mistaken for him. And sometimes people are on the verge of flipping out. Like, imagine if you were walking down the street and you bumped into Eddie Murphy. They're treating me the same way.
I just had his nephew on.
Who? Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's nephew, Brandon Lynch. He's a boxer. It's great.
I got one for you that no one will ever tell you, ever. Eddie Murphy's real father was a New York City transit cop in the subway.
Really?
Not a New York City cop, a transit cop. And you know who else was a transit cop? Abdul-Jabbar's father was a transit cop.
Interesting.
The oldest fighter. Are you a UFC guy?
More boxing.
Okay, but look this up later. The oldest fighter ever in the UFC at the age of 55 wore red, white, and blue shorts, a black guy known as the Black Panther. His last name is Van Cleef. He was a New York City transit cop.
Really? Interesting.
He fought at 55 years old in a cage.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I have some in my family. My uncle was a federal marshal. And he worked undercover for years, did all sorts of stuff. I mean, he's retired now. And then my great uncle was a mob captain.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So I had an uncle, my mom's brother, federal marshal. Their uncle, my great uncle, mob captain. So yeah. So I've heard stories, and I've heard the way New York was back in that time, and it was different.
Speaking of, did I tell you about my Uncle Kenny?
No.
We went on a camping trip. I was 8 years old, and we went up to Big Bear, and he wanted me to stay in his tent, the special tent that had the nice zipper.
Oh.
And I remember in the middle of the night, I looked up and said, Uncle Kenny, what's a pervert? And he looked down and said, shut up and keep sucking.
Oh, that's so bad. That's bad.
Just giving blowjobs on the side.
Oh, man. So, all right. Bam, bam, bam. So back to it. So you get the sitcom deal.
Okay, I get the sitcom with Disney.
That was with Fox?
It's with. There's actually a bidding war.
You gotta break all this down. I want to know what it was like when you went into fucking William Morris for the first time. Did you even have an agent?
Here's what happened. The entities got interested. The sitcom people got interested. Hollywood and producers got interested just as 2 or 3 agents came to the one-man show. Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so.
And this is all in New York.
This is all in New York. I'm still a cop. You
never did the show out here. You didn't.
No. God forbid. No, dude, I was a New Yorker. I was going now. I was doing a one-man show that went from 8:05 to 9:05, running through the lobby, past people from Miramax, past people from the Daily News, past people from Hollywood, to go to work as a transit cop to go on duty now at 9:30. They shifted it from 12:30 or 12 to 9:30.
Talk about a mind fuck, huh?
Dude, and now it was I would get out in Manhattan at 8 and 9:05 and had to run, but I knew it was going to lead to something big. I got an agent named Ruth Ann Segunda, and now I had to start flying from New York on my days off as a transit cop to Hollywood to, go to Disney and, oh, Mr. DiResta, oh, they're waiting for you. Total dog and pony show at each stop.
And meanwhile, you probably had no real vacation stacked up. So you had
dude, it was and I had, watch this. I had my driver's license was suspended. I was a New York City cop driving to and from work every day, driving a police van every night, and I had no driver's license. I couldn't even get on some of these airplanes. My driver's license was suspended. When I got a first check from Disney, was waiting. This is a true story. I'm flat broke. I'm eating cat food. I'm eating toilet paper soup. I'm eating cat food. And cat food and dog food mixed is like a white trash surf and turf. Everybody wins. Dude, I get a call from I'm jumping ahead. We have a $50,000 check for you, John DiResta. Let me repeat that. We have a $50,000 check. We just have to see a copy of a current valid driver's license. This is an agent's assistant in Hollywood. I sent him my police ID, my auto insurance, my this ID, my
everything but.
Dude, I sent him to get in the local swimming pool. You know what I mean?
Your license.
And he just said, all I need is your license. And it was outdated and suspended. And I couldn't get, because I owed so much in tickets. So I said to my brother, Jimmy, can you lend me? He lent me $2,500. This is a true story. And I went to, don't ask me why, in Nyack, New York, I went to a motor vehicle. I had $2,500 in my pocket. And I said, hey, this is my name. I know I owe all kinds of tickets and everything. I want to straighten it out. Lady goes, that's going to be $25. I said, are you sure? John DiResta, John Richard DiResta, 72364. Are you sure? She goes, you want to pay me the $25 or you want me to double check? Here's the 25. And I got my license back and I got that first check and paid all these bills off, I owed everybody money. I was really that broke. Okay, I'm going to truncate part of this. And now you got to remember, I'm flying out there with the guys that produce my one-man show. And every place we show up, everyone's like, okay, John, who are these two? Why are you here?
So the bad blood started to kick in.
We were like, well, here's what happened. It was a contract that was this thick. But then when we started flying back and forth to meet with Disney, to meet with this company, WB, ABC, like a lot of these real big Hollywood players and executives, I met them when they were the assistant to the assistant to the assistant. And what happened on the airplane, the guys from the one-man show would say, hey, John, this is page, I'm on an airplane. It's 2 a.m. This is page 7 with a pen. Can you just initial the 6 things I filled in? We own the book rights. We own the this rights. If this turns into a movie, we own the rights. And I'm on an airplane going, this doesn't feel right. And I feel like I'm getting 2 fingers in my muffler.
Yeah.
But it was like a runaway train. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to stand up for myself. I didn't have a lawyer. So then I got a lawyer, and ready for this? This is a true story. It was given to me by Abrams, I don't want to say their name. It was given to me by the one-man show guys. A lawyer to fight them that they paid for. Like something along those lines where, it just didn't make sense.
Oh, man.
And then when the money got involved, they got squeezed out. For lack of a better term, there was such bad blood. Some of the things in the contract weren't even legal. That they represented me for 10 or 20 years, some crazy length of time. And I couldn't make this up. This sounds like it's made up. It's not. I've been told by someone along the way that one-man show contract is shown in entertainment law classes on how one human being can get frucked without a lawyer. Without a lawyer.
You should get a copy of it somehow.
So watch this. You know how I signed up and I wanted to be NYPD and I got transit and I got stuck in the subway? Well, I took the test, medical, physical. I got naked again. They checked my ball sack, my anus while I was a transit cop. I'd already passed. But to roll over, you got to do everything. Dude, guess what I got? I got transit a second time. So I just remained a transit. I didn't try and switch anymore to go to NYPD. So I get a huge TV deal with Disney and ABC. And about 6 weeks later, I get a phone call from the agent. I got good news and bad news. I go, what? Your whole concept is no longer at Disney. It's going to go to Paramount. And I go, that sounds like good news, right? Who cares where it is? I'm still in LA, right? She goes, if it goes to the air, it won't be on ABC. It'll be on UPN. I go, that sounds like the bad news. I say, UPN, is that like Hoipies?
Huh.
So anyway, my sitcom got made, and we did 17 episodes on UPN. Do you remember UPN, or you're too young?
I believe UPN, was it a Chicago? Or no, that was...
No, it was just that they tried to become the new Fox. They tried to become a new network. So in every city, it was on a different channel. They were the all-black network for like 2 years.
Okay.
Then the year they switched to the Everyone Network, I was the white fat cop on an African-American network.
Oh.
You dig?
Yeah.
My lead-in was Moesha. And they were thinking about merging Moesha and DiResta and calling it Molesta.
Oh.
There you go. Your turn.
So, okay. So you get the 17. Wait, real quick, sidebar. Do you have the season? Do you have the series?
I have 17 episodes up in that crawl space under the hockey sticks near the insulation on beta.
Okay, if I can transfer them for you in high def for free, may I have a copy?
I mean, I'd have to find them and watch this. This may sound...
You gotta find them.
This may sound unusual. I could care less. They were so bad, dude. It was a very... We're skipping over a big piece. You ready for this? Yeah, it was an unfunny sitcom. And I went from, there's no control over this contract to now I'm on a sitcom called DiResta, and they don't ask me one single question about writing the scripts. They don't ask me one question about what it's like to be a transit cop. I have 5 or 6, some of them went to Harvard. We'll show you our Emmys. Writing on a show for me. I mean, like in the pilot episode, I had a $500 leather coat on. And I said to the guys, the jacket I wore for the whole time I tried to make it as a comedian cost me 50 cents at a garage sale. And there's not only is there humor in that, there's probably a whole episode about my 50-cent jacket.
That's amazing.
Guess what they said? Nobody cares. No one at home is going to notice that it was a $500 coat.
So what did they? So okay. So
you have no control. You're reading a script on a Monday night in your living room, and you're like, I never needed an enema. I would never ask my wife to stick something up my leather Cheerio. Why are they doing this to me?
Did you ever try to negotiate that and say, hey, this is my...
Well, a lot of people said I should do a quote Roseanne. Well, Roseanne had the #1 show on the air that was making millions and millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, they can't fucking do that. Like,
I went to the agent and said, hey, this first couple of episodes really aren't up my alley. It's like Charles in Charge with rubber guns. It's the same rehashed jokes. It's like, honey, I found a wallet in the subway. It has $400 in it, and that's the tuition for our young son's preschool. Should I return it? You know what I mean? So, but here's what happened when I said to Ruth Ann, I don't like the way it's going. You know what she said? You just got over a 2-year battle with the guys from the one-man show. You have your own sitcom with a name on it. You're going to make waves?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do? You're going to tell them they're not writing a good show? So here's a quick story about another girl. I won't say her name. She had a sitcom at the same exact time as me.
Will you tell me off the air?
Of course.
Awesome.
That's a promise.
All right, great.
Yeah, without a doubt. So she had a sitcom.
We're not on the air right now. We're not on the...
Watch this. So Kevin James came out on CBS at 8:30 on Monday. I came out at 8:30 on Mondays, and he killed me every week. He got 14 million. I got 2 million. He got 15 million. I got 1.5 million. And there was another female comedian out of New York on Channel 4. And after 5 or 6 episodes, allegedly, she was on the set of her sitcom and stood up on a desk and started, "This is my show. You do it. Read the name in the title. It's my show." And supposedly, simultaneously, an executive was walking his family around. You know these big studios, how big and empty they are?
Oh, yeah. They have the tours.
Well, this was just a private, like a guy who's like 30 years old who made it in Hollywood, and all his family from Idaho, like 10 people. And she stands up, and they're in the way back darkness. "That's my show. You'll do it my way. Fuck it. I kept my mouth shut for 6 months." And the executive looked at his father and mother and goes, "You want to see someone get their sitcom canceled? Watch this." And supposedly, remember when we were kids in the cartoons, there'd be like a big power thing with a handle on it?
Yeah.
Shh. This guy grabbed that thing, turned it, and went, shh, and all the lights went down. And someone just said, "You can all go home. It's over." So that's what could have happened to me.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Until we're off the air, I need to know this. And I promise I won't fuck you.
No, I'll tell you.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I couldn't do that. And then watch this. One of my episodes became the least watched half hour in primetime on a network. Now, you got to remember, it's UPN. They consider them the fifth network. And 600,000 people watched my show. 600,000 watched one episode. And I got a fax to my home office. This is when you had a fax machine. Again, you got to remember, I'm making decent money. I'm rented a big house. I did the Tonight Show as a panel guest.
Where were you living out here?
Dude, as close to Mulholland as I can get. White trash with money.
Nice.
All the way up, watch this. All the way up Laurel Canyon. Right before you get to Mulholland on the left is Donna Pagita, Danya Nanita, Donna.
Yeah, oh yeah, Don Panita.
Yeah, I was right up Donna Panitia. And we were renting for $3,500 a month because I was going to be rich and famous forever. I have a sitcom. I did the Tonight Show as a panel guest to kick the show off. It's on YouTube. Killed it, Jay Leno. "Were you really a New York City Transit cop 9 weeks ago?"
Oh, that's great.
I said, "Look at me. I got cop hair, 4 chins, man tits." I go, "My bulletproof vest fits more like a ballistic lobster bib. It doesn't even cover my areolas." It means nipples. You get to mean nipples.
The great Leno.
So watch this. I was riding high, even though the sitcom was lowly rated. Like, in other words, I just thought, and at episode 12 or 13, they were going to cancel the show. And I went to the vice president's office of UPN, Tom something, and said, I found this out 10 episodes in. I said, "Why are we not dealing with the garage sales? Why are we not dealing with my dad? Why are we not dealing with bum bait and driving comedians and the homeless outreach? Why are we not dealing with that?" And the guy who was the head writer of the show said, "Well, we don't want to hear from the guys from the one-man show. We don't want to, like, we're biting that story." I go, "You dicks. Paramount bought that story." I mean, I couldn't even fathom how stupid this sounded. These writers are handed my one-man show and the script and my life story and went, "We heard that, someone else." So now I was just going to be the next fat guy that didn't clean out the gutters. I was going to be the next fat guy whose son dressed as a girl. In the pilot episode, they had my son who liked to wear dresses. This is no joke. This is 22 years ago, and I have a quasi-trans. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't read Dr. Seuss anymore.
Right.
Nothing about You Ride, We Hide, 9 arrests in 12 years, and I love garage sales. I'm a sick maniac. I wear clothes from garage sales without even washing them. That's how much I love garage sales. I bought this shirt 5 minutes before the show started from 2 gay guys in Studio City at a garage sale.
Oh, nice.
Does that make me gay?
No.
What if I like the way it smells? I can't quit you. They did ask me nothing. Let me give you an example of losing the power. On the Thanksgiving episode, they had me in a chef's hat. They had me with the lobster gloves. They had me, this year I'm going to use my cilantro, and I'm cooking the turkey, and I'm basting the turkey. And when I read the script, this is when I really got pissed. I went into the writer's room, and I said, look, this is not working, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't cook. I don't know how to cook. I don't like to cook. When I go to buy the food, the few times my wife went to Florida and I had to cook for my kids, something would be so expensive, my mind would go, in 12 hours, you're going to squeeze this out of your anus into a toilet.
Yeah.
Put it back on the shelf. Put it back.
It has no redeemable.
And I could get, right.
No residual qualities.
I could never make frozen chicken patties and the hush puppy fries together. I could never get them done at the same time. I can make tables 12 hours a day with my eyes shut, as long as I have some Black Sabbath and some pot. I cannot cook at all. My wife's a fan. So to make me with the lot, and I'm in the episode, I said, guys, do you know what I do on Thanksgiving? This is in the writer's room. I said, usually we go to my in-laws' house and I don't want to look at them. I just, as soon as we walk in the door, I set it up. I go, I ate some bad Jamaican patties last night in the homeless unit. My stomach's not feeling well. I'm going to be okay. And then 4 times while it's Thanksgiving, I go to the bathroom, shut the door, lock it, and sit on a closed toilet, fully clothed, for 30 minutes and just look at the wall so I don't have to look at anybody. And they're like, oh my God, no one could even think of that. That's so, it's so off the fucking wall and real. And I go, yeah, but you got me in a chef's hat. This year I'm going to use my cilantro, and I hope you like my stuffing. It was a fucking deluxe hand job. So at episode 12, I go into the UPN vice president. I go, let's get a new writer. Let's add a father character. Let's add garage sales. Let's add my love. I love heavy metal. We wrote an episode right away that since I'm an off-duty cop, I'm going to work an Ozzy Osbourne concert, and I'm going to get to, finally something good comes out of being a cop. I'm going to meet Ozzy Osbourne. And Ozzy was so close to doing this that his name was in the TV guide. It's somewhere out there that said Ozzy Osbourne guest on DiResta. Then Dee Schneider wanted too much money, so they made up a fictional heavy metaler named Gunther Skank. And I love Gunther Skank so much, he lets me stage dive. But since I'm so fat, everyone moved. Boink, right on the concrete. Kevin James style. And I had a stunt man who did it. And I remember him, he told me he had died once. He literally died somewhere on a set for like 15 minutes. And I said, dude, I got you beat. I died twice. I had UPN in transit 3 times.
Oh.
So anyway, this guy renewed this guy years later said to me, Tom was his name. I can't remember. He said, you should always be very proud of yourself. You came up to my office and you sold me on 6 more episodes. So they picked it up for 6 more. That would have brought us, I think, to 19. Like, we should have done 19. Watch this. We do the table read for 18. It got no laughs. None. And, this is where all the executives come out with their pencil and the script under their arm. And it got no laughs. And they said, all right, cast, you guys go get brunch and meet us on the stage in an hour and a half. We all go out. And, there was just a bad smell of the whole thing. It's the lowest rated sitcom. Well, I'll get to that again with the fax machine. And someone said, well, as bad as this one is, it's going to be the last. And I go, what do you mean? Like, we're sitting here brunch. What do you know? He said, well, remember how episode 19 was supposed to all get in a camper and go to Atlantic City? I go, yeah. He goes, look over there. And there was the camper they bought on a hook being towed off the lot.
Oh.
Like, that's it. There is no episode 19 with a camper. You're done. But watch this. Somewhere around episode 10, I get a fax to my home office, and it's 1 square, this big. New York Post. New York City cop that quit for a sitcom has the record for the lowest rated sitcom in the history of TV. DiResta got 600,000 views. It's the least watched show in prime time on a network in the history of TV. I bring that into the writer's room and said, guys, this is what you're doing. I just want to let you know. I shit you not. The head writer goes, oh, your brother sent you that? What kind of brother sends you that? Not, we're ruining your life. You quit a job with a pension, and we'll have you getting enemas and doing this stupid shit with a transgender child. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Does that guy still work? The writer, the head writer who said that to you?
He got a couple of other deals right away, and then he packed it in, moved back to where he came from. And about 3 years ago, I'm at the flea market because I'm famous. I sell my rustic tables, and he walks up and goes, hey, you're Jimmy DiResta, right? I said, oh, I'm John DiResta. He goes, no, you're Jimmy. John was big and fat. He didn't even fucking know me. I put my life in his hands, but I did lose 50 pounds. And he goes, do you know who I am? And dude, I should have blurted it out, because when you don't let a rank out or a snap, it turns into a zit. If you don't really say what you want to feel. I have a zit on the back of my neck right now that would gag a maggot.
I wish you would have punched him in his face.
No, I wanted to just, he goes, do you know who I am? I wanted to go, sure. You're the guy that ruined my life. That's all. And I didn't say it. That's what I'm getting at. But guess who was a writer on my show? On a lighter note, maybe you heard of a guy named Terry Winter who won 5 Emmys on The Sopranos. He wrote Boardwalk Empire. He wrote Wolf of Wall Street, etc., etc.
Yeah, he's great.
He was one of the writers on my sitcom. So that's been a friendship that I hope, turns into something nice.
That's cool, man. Well, shit, dude. So what? So now, so after that, you've been.
I give hand jobs now, $40.
But you've been in tons of stuff, big movies.
Well, again, watch this. Right after the sitcom, I got into a movie called 15 Minutes with Robert De Niro and Ed Burns. I had to audition like 5 times. And every time you went in, it was that guy's from The Sopranos. Oh man, that guy was in Godfather. Oh my God, that guy's best friends with Tom Cruise. I got into the movie 15 Minutes by audition, and then about a year later, I got into Miss Congeniality, no audition, because they needed someone in the FBI group to have a New York accent.
That's it.
They needed to quote what I found out years later, they needed a Jack Black type wise ass that had a New York accent.
So how did that come through? It was just like your agent called you and said, hey, we got a direct offer.
Watch this. No, I'll tell you exactly how. I get a phone call. I had to I was doing a gig, and I turned the cell phone back on, and it was 7 messages on a Friday night. And I thought someone had died, right? You get 7 messages. John, it's Ruth Ann. Call me. You're in a movie called Mr. Congeniality. John, it's your manager. You're in a movie called Miss Congeniality. Hi, John. I'm Wardrobe for Miss Congeniality. This is all like in an hour when the phone was off. Hi, I'm Wardrobe. And then another one. Hi, I'm in charge of your flights to Austin, Texas.
Jesus. Yeah.
So I found out from the director, who I'm still friends with, and a few other people, they got a tape of guys that had New York accents, stand-ups. And they liked the fact that in my set, I mentioned I was a cop, and I had the New York accent. And, of course, same jokes I did on Leno. Look at me. I got cop hair, no neck, man tits. I got a fupa, and I'm a man. I got a mangina, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they said, now what? This is how Hollywood works. They go, but does he know how to act? They look at my resume, and there's one movie, Gloria, with Sharon Stone. Shot as a drama, and her New York accent, and the movie sucked so bad, they put it out as a comedy. Never before in the history of Hollywood. But I'm in that movie, and all I say is, Central, be advised, I got the cards, license plate, Apple 107H5. I'm at the Times Square. Over. So the people from Miss Congeniality, from what I gather, the director and casting, they go, he's in one movie called Gloria. They look at the intern. This is high-end stuff. Go to Blockbuster and rent Gloria on VHS and look for this guy and fast forward it and then bring it to us. And they all watched me go, Central, be advised, I got the car, Apple 17, I'm at Times Square, over. Thank you. And that's how I got the role. With a decent paycheck and a single card credit. You know what that is?
Yeah.
My name's rolling up front, bitch.
Right. Your
This ain't
name
camp. I'm not cop number 7.
Yeah, yeah. You actually had a name.
Look, I'm not meatball number 4.
What was it? Agent Klonsky?
Yeah, Klonsky.
Right.
Agent Klonsky.
So you were asked to be in the second one, which meant more Scott.
Dude, do you know the story there? It's funny that you set me up.
No, I don't.
So I go broke. Over the next few years, I go completely broke, right? Wife and 3 kids, phone's not ringing. I stop hustling.
That money?
Well, Miss Congeniality was gone quick. We were spending it like,
You did other things in between, right?
Yeah, well, again, watch this. It was sitcom, 15 minutes, Miss Congeniality. Boom, boom, boom. All paid very well. But then when the phone stops ringing and your rent is $3,800 and you lease 2 cars and you're living like a black guy with a hit record and the phone stops ringing because you stop hustling and I got physically fatter, the money was shooting out real quick. You know, you're spending 8, 9, 10 grand a month just to survive because you've built up all these bills, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is how I knew I was in trouble. I had a relative come, living up by Mulholland. I had a built-in pool, and the heater was on, and it was like a winter night, and steam is coming off. We're smoking a cigar, having a drink, and steam is coming off my well-lit pool. And my friend from New York goes, hey, what's the steam? What's going on? What is that? I just went, true story. I go, that's my bank account fizzling into the air. He goes, why don't you shut the heat off? It's expensive to heat a pool. I go, I'm going to walk all the way to fuck over there, 90 feet. I might want to swim in this thing 6 months from now. I want it to be warm. That's the way your mind works. That's how sick it is. And I don't even know how much it costs to heat the pool. Guess why? The bill's going to the business manager. You know what I mean? I don't even see where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, shit, where was I getting at? So I went broke.
Cool.
What's that?
The sequel, part 2.
Dude, you're right on it. I go broke. And now watch this. My manager calls me, Barry Katz, at the time. Barry, I like Barry. He goes, hey, pal, they're doing a part 2 for Miss Congeniality. Give me a call, Papa. I call him up. He goes, they're writing a movie called Miss Congeniality 2. And dude, this is the way the mind works as an actor, comedian. I automatically know, I don't think, I know I'm in it. And I know I'm going to get the same amount of money, if not more. 3 days later, Barry, hey, pal, I just got the script for Miss Congeniality 2, and you're not in it. I'm sorry, Papa. I wasn't in it. And I had the writers of the first one. I had his email, and I remember, like, when I initially thought, oh, I'm automatically in it, I said, let me write. I had the writers, and I emailed him, and he never answered. Over like a week, he never answered. And then Barry called and said, you're not in it. And I was like, I was really heartbroken because I just more like I needed the money to pay rent and take care of my wife and kids. Not that I'm not going to be in the movie. I just was so let down, like it was an automatic, I thought. Long story short, 4 or 5 months go by. Barry Katz calls me, but he's walking uphill in Denver, and he's out of breath, and he's like, hey, man. Oh, my wife and I just saw Mystic River. We came out of Mystic River in Van Nuys, and I got a message. Hey, pal, it's Barry Katz. I got good news. Miss Congeniality 2, they rewrote the script to put you in it. The table read sucked. You're back in it. Call me. Now I'm thinking, same money. Now I know I'm in, right? Now I'm going to, dude, I might buy a fucking house. I might buy a house. Down payment, 30, 40 grand. This is no shit. This is how your heart can get broken, up and down and up.
Oh yeah.
Hey, pal, I got good news and I got bad news. You're in, like I told you earlier. You're in, but they're going to offer you $10,000. I go, for the first one, I got $100,000. They're going to give me 90% less. He goes, take it or leave it. If you don't take it, they'll go to fat guy number 2. Plus, you'll get residuals and you're back in a movie. So I did Miss Congeniality too. I got $10,000, which is good because today an actor of my stature or your stature gets scale. Everybody gets scale. Tom Cruise is a star. There's 10 stars in Hollywood. Everyone else gets scale. That's it. There's not. I don't even think. I mean, I guess there's in between. But anyway, I got $10,000 for the second one, and with overtime and meal penalties, I got $18,000, and now I get residuals on part 2. And I'm hoping for a part 3. How's that? What's up, fucker?
I don't know why they don't do it. They need to do it.
Fucking who's the asshole now?
The world is better with John DiResta. What do you got, a Jimmy John's cup? Where's Jimmy John's?
Dude, it's awesome. It's right by Starbucks, Lancashire, and Magnolia.
Oh, they have one there now?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? There's like a Starbucks where all the bums hang out.
Yeah.
And then there's like an Academy of TV and something like buried back. What, you know where it's by? The movie theater there, NoHo 7, where all the writers and liberals from Hollywood.
Lamel Theater, Lamel. It's right
Yeah. La Ballbag.
By Ruby's Diner. That's funny.
Yes, dude, right there's a Jimmy John's right there. And do you know what they're known for? Yeah, because I like Jersey Mike's too.
Yeah, me too.
But Jersey Mike's, you got to wait usually. And these guys are known for getting you in and out with a sandwich.
Yeah, but they're weird about condiments. They won't.
Yeah, they are. There's something like if you ask for something, they don't have it or they charge you extra.
Or they're like, hey, well, we can't put it on the sandwich. We could give it to you on the side. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, somehow they've done the right thing. I got an Italian sub today, and it was $5-6 cheaper than.
Bread's great. I like Firehouse subs too.
I went there once. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the way you had to choose.
My wife doesn't like it either. She's a Jersey Mike's person. But, you know, I mean, there's so many good sandwiches. I mean, there used to be a place.
Not compared to Long Island.
No, of course not. There used to be a place in Burbank called Lucchese's that was really good. But it's gone now. Only catering. But anyway, so well, shit, dude. So what's going on now? You're doing comedy.
I did a first outdoor car show where everyone honks their horn and rings cowbells.
Who books that?
Randy Lubis does it once a month. Do you know Randy?
No, I don't know if I know him. Did Brian Scalero do that? Because I saw Brian Scalero did some outdoor show.
No, he wasn't involved in that. But him and I went to the same college, and he beat me out for that show Stacked. Remember the show with?
Yeah.
I was up for that.
With Elon Gold.
Yes, I was up for that, and he beat me out for that.
Oh, that's great.
Now I'm doing stand-up. I have a woodworking business that I do pretty well with, and, you know, I could host a show on cable about tattoos or fixing stuff, which the money's really not there, but it's a steady gig. Yeah. Or I'm waiting, hopefully, if, Terry Winter knocks on my door and I'm in the next mob show. You know, the New York accent.
You don't hit him up?
What's that? I did. Oh yeah, dude. I spoke to him at Christmas.
Oh,
but
good.
There's a fine line when you're the hottest writer in Hollywood. There's a fine line between being an old friend and a stalker, and I don't want to pass the stalker line. Yeah,
it's weird with that whole thing. It's
weird. And watch this. As much as and I'm not jinxing it, but it'll happen when it happens. That's what I mean. Because I chased everything so much. You know what I mean? I chased it, and because there's as much success as I had, there's been a lot of really super dry years. It hit me the other day. Is what kind of business is this? Where you're 23 years between good gigs.
Yeah, it's great.
And watch when we go back to stand-ups. There's going to be half the places to work on the road, and guess who's going to get in those half? Guys that are on Netflix and have a bigger queue. You know what I mean? Watch this. In 2008, I got pushed down a whole level as a comedian because I was a headliner, but with no one knew who I was. So I didn't really sell tickets. And 2008 came, some kind of, crazy financial crush. And all of a sudden there was 50, not one, not seven, 50 cast members that all had 1 year on Saturday Night Live that were now going to do stand-up, and their names sold tickets.
Yeah.
And I went from, the upper, nicer clubs to now I'm at the Heaster bowling lanes in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Or the Van Nuys Comedy Club with me. Now, did you do spots like during this time with DiResta while you were out here?
Yeah, that's a good question. My stand-up got really jacked up because my whole act was flat broke, transit cop, flat broke, bills, flat broke, borrow money from my mother, transit cop, transit cop, transit cop. Now I'm living in a $500,000 or $700,000 house at the time, paying $3,000 a month rent. My act got really, I had to kind of start over, and most of the clubs didn't care that I had a sitcom. It was hard to get spots. I had, here's two Laugh Factories. I went to the Laugh Factory. I lived here about a month. I went to the Laugh Factory during the day, and there's a little buzzer by the back door. I knock in the front. No one answers. I hit the buzzer. Hello. Hi, my name's John DiResta. I'm a New York City cop and a comedian. Okay, my name's Jamie. How can I help you? I said, I have a sitcom on UPN, and I'd like to start doing sets here. Everybody in this town have sitcom. 4 Wednesdays from now, you wait online at 6 a.m. Thank you. With a sitcom, I was told to wait online with the mutts. People that are going to audition. So, no, well, watch this. I can't say I'm not going to do that because what am I going to not do shows? You know what I mean? Because I have a sitcom on UPN. You know what I mean? People shouldn't have known who I was. So, long story short, I get an audition at the Laugh Factory, but I don't have to wait online. So, I got to go that day, but I'm number 15. You don't have to wait online that morning. We go. I do my 3 or 4 minutes. We're all waiting to meet Jamie one by one by one. While we're online, a guy goes to me. What was your name again? I go, John DiResta. He goes, there's a John DiResta that's got a sitcom on UPN. Do you know him? I said, I am him. And you got to wait online? You don't get you don't automatically get sets? You know what I mean? That's how, like, at least as a civil servant, I'm a cop, you're a sergeant, he's a lieutenant. You know what I mean? There's just it's just a big jack session as to what's right or wrong. But I worked my way into the improv. I worked my way into all of them. But after a while, somehow it just, I went off to do I got a couple of fix-it shows in New York, like, woodworking shows on HGTV. And when I got back, I just never really got into it. And then you get replaced. You get replaced by guys that have hotness or favors or, now they're giving, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights to the guy that brings 150 people from his Instagram.
Yeah.
I do. To be honest with you, the only people that care that I was in Miss Congeniality 1 and 2, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and a movie called 15 Minutes with Robert De Niro is everyone that works at the eye doctor where my mother works. They all think I'm rich and famous going to Coke parties up on Mulholland with Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know I'm at the African rugby bar comedy night under the airport in Van Nuys, and the whole room stinks of onion yam fries.
I cut my cloth there. That's where I cut my teeth.
Good for you.
That's great.
But they don't know I'm working at a flea market selling furniture.
Well, that's another thing, man. You do good quality work, man.
And watch this. That's this wall behind me I made.
Yeah.
And that was all self-taught. So just because I needed the money, dude. There was a lot of dry spells.
I'm definitely going to have you do a bar for us eventually. It's just so low on the priority.
Yeah, understood.
Now. But yeah, man, you're a multi-talented dude, man. And, I'm blessed to have crossed paths with you.
Yeah, dude, I remember the night I met you at what is the name of that place?
It's Springbok.
Springbok out back, and you offered me a dry hand job by the dumpster for 40.
I did.
I said I was from Long Island. I said I was from, and you went 30.
Yep. Yeah. And you have a book where you record all of your sets every time you.
Well, I don't have it with me. I'm up to notebook about 155. And on the left side is woodworking, and on the right side is comedy. Left side is woodworking, right side is comedy. So yeah, I've done about 6,000 sets as a comedian, and some of them have really stood out. Set 33 was a bringer show where I made $250 and killed it in Long Island, Rockville Center, home of Amy Schumer and Dave Attell, Rockville Center, and Howard Stern. That was a bringer.
That's my hero. That
was a bringer show that I made $250, which was all the money in the world, and I killed. That was a big show. Set 33. Set 50, I won New York City's Funniest Cop. And set 72 was the show, the bringer show at Caroline's, where the guys that eventually produced my one-man show, I had a killer set, and people in the audience were yelling my callbacks, thank you. And so I remember certain sets. Now watch this. Set 72 was the biggest set that got me the one-man show, eventually turned into a sitcom. And I went up before Stephen Douglas. Do you know who he was?
No.
Michael Douglas, the handsome actor, had a younger brother.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Now I do. Now I know who you're talking.
And he was a troubled drug addict, and so he thought stand-up.
Horrible comedian.
Horrible. But he thought anyone could do stand-up. Oh, you got to do stand at the mic and tell jokes. And, dude, I killed it. I might even got a partial standing ovation. But, again, it was a bringer show. And then he bombed. He bombed so bad, he bombed his dick off. His dick fell off out the bottom of his bell bottoms, and they put it in a Dixie cup. And he held it while he bombed. His dick was in a Dixie cup.
Oh, that's
so funny. Afterwards, we're in the green room, and I was flying high. I just knew that, wow, if I could recapture this every night of my life, I'm going to be. It's going to be fun. And I didn't. A week later, I had 2 horrible sets at Pips. And in my mind, I was going, what did I do on set 72? I'll just do it. I thought I could just, that's when I learned no 2 audiences ever alike. You know what I mean? I'm doing the same stuff from Caroline's and that killed. What's going on? But so after Caroline's, I went in the green room, and he came, and he had stunk it out. I mean, it was like one of those sets where it's embarrassing. Just, it went to dead silent. And he came in the green room, and he goes, you were really funny, but I don't bring my whole family and my whole police department to every show that I go to. Oh. And I was going to say something nasty back to him. It felt nice to say something really rude, but he was holding a bottle of beer. And rumor had it that he had glossed somebody, as they say in Scotland. He glossed him, that he hit somebody while he was holding a bottle. So I was just very complimentary and said, just keep working at it. Thank you for the comment. You'll be okay. In a strange twist of fate, 10 years later, I'm doing a fix-it show in New York, and the production company's too cheap to get me a hotel. So they rented an apartment, like this is before Airbnb was invented. And I stayed for 1 month in Stephen Douglas's apartment, where he committed suicide the year before. Bada bing.
Oh, man.
Your turn.
Jesus, I got nothing. I can't follow that. But, all right, man. Well, shit, man. We'll wrap this up. Thank you so much, dude, for doing this, man.
Yeah, anytime, bro. Anytime. Especially Long Island.
Yeah, yes, Flid, bro. I'm gonna start probably doing some of these comedy shows here and there, man. Like I was doing before, on Zoom until shit opens up, and until
dude, anything you have, I'm interested. If you need anything made, and it's all good. Just got to keep fighting the fight.
Yes, we do, brother. Yes, we
do. You know
what
I mean? That's all you can do.
Yeah, family's good, though. Everybody's good.
Yeah. My youngest daughter turned 28 yesterday, and I have two other kids. Their ages are. I got my own fucking problems. I don't know how old they are. Changes
Yeah.
every year.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my wife was working at Goodwill, but she quit that because there's too many bums over there. You ever go to Goodwill on a rainy day? They all come
I
in and
actually
just,
did a lot of community service at the Goodwill right there. That was on. I think it's still across from the In and Out on Lancashire.
no, okay. She worked at the one in Van Nuys.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, and so she's home and she cooks 3 meals a day. She's a fantastic cook, and yeah, just kind of like I said, just I'm trudging along. I'm looking for my 2800 from Uncle Joe,
Nice.
Creepy Joe.
Well, Creepy Joe should be sending it, right?
Well, one of my wife's friends already got hers. Just to let you know, in case you're looking forward to yours.
Yeah,
Somebody,
I'm looking forward to mine. I mean, I don't know. There's nowhere to go anymore. I just want to do stand up. I was getting better. I was 2 years in, and then this shit happened, and now I'm gonna suck cock.
oh, see that, dude, and watch this. If you need any coaching, I'll help you. I didn't know you were only 2 years in. Again, I started in '92. I guess I'm 29 years in, and take a lot of notes. And I could see someone set and very quickly, at least help you along with X, Y, or Z. There's a female comedian on the circuit. They have her all the time at the Laugh Factory, and I saw her a couple of months before the pandemic, and she never left one single solitary pause for a laugh in like a 30-minute set. Not one pause.
Just
I said to someone, how can she be doing? And I could get it if you're Don Rickles and people are laughing over the material. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But my comedy coach out in LA told me, when I would show him, this is back when I had the sitcom, I'd say, let's listen to it. Let's watch a set. And he'd go, right there, you got to stop. I go, well, he said, you just said your favorite meal is English muffin pizzas. Let it sink in. I said, I'm just using it as an example towards other stuff. He said, no, you're a white trash savage. And not many people talk about their love of English muffin pizzas.
I love
It's funny.
muffin pizzas. They're great.
Yes. You know who else? There's a documentary, and who's that famous? She was in Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks, I think, lived with Jimmy Iovino, the producer, the music producer.
Yeah.
And he taught her how to make English muffin pizzas. But my point is, my comedy coach said, look, you just did 3 jokes in a row where the audience went like this to laugh, and you talked over them. By the 4th time, you know what they do?
Yeah.
They'll just sit back and smile. You're not letting them laugh. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You're not making them part of the show. They feel left out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, it's all good, dude.
Well, all right, brother. Love you, my man. We'll be in touch.
Listen, keep in touch with yourself.
Thank you.
If you switch hands, it feels like Jerry Sandusky.
Oh my God, that's a good reference.
Yeah, he was a good kisser. I met him. Dude, when I was a cop, I met Michael Jackson in Madison Square Garden in his dressing room. Guess what he did?
What?
He put his tongue in my anus.
Oh my God.
Dude, here's another one. True story. Deconstructing Harry. I auditioned for Woody Allen. Me and Woody Allen in a room. Before I went in, it was me and Michael Imperioli from Sopranos, and told him everything I just told you. Homeless, transit, bum bait. And he was howling. If this is in your fucking act, I'm coming to your show.
That's great.
I go in to audition for Woody Allen. Guess what happened? He made me suck his thumb. It's creepy.
Yeah, he is creepy.
He took off my underwears.
All right, I'm creeped out now. Imagine you being raped by Woody Allen.
Dude, I remember like it was yesterday. He goes, you call that a dick? Are you sure you're not a eunuch? Is that a mangina? That looks like a half and half.
Is it American?
All right, bro.
All right, brother. I love you, man.
Suck
John DiResta, man.
Suck it easy.
In my balls.
I hope so.
All right, everybody. That was the great John DiResta, man. I am going to pour myself a drink and I'm going to go to bed. Everybody have a good night and stay safe.